Hi, it's Yvette, the craft shop girl. Today I want to show you how I make 10 journal cards and 10 Bellybands using a process called Stack and Whack. And it's a fun way to end up with some really great results, and I think it's fairly easy. So hopefully I'm going to try to do this in 30 minutes because if I can do that, anybody can do that. And it's a great way to build up on your stash. And you can always do the cards, decorate them later, or embellish them to match a certain theme. But at least you have a good foundation for some items for your journals. So what I do is I start off with a 12 by 12 sheet. And I end up cutting it down. So I'm going to cut it down to an 8 by 11. And what I've used today is I'm recycling some binder dividers, and I just trim off the edge and I trim off the holes, and that's where I get the 8" by 11. The great thing about doing it 8 inches is on your 12 by 12, you'll still have a nice 4-inch strip to reuse for something else, and then a 1-inch scrap piece that is great for doing belly bands, or if you, I've started doing a snippet roll, so I use scraps that way. So what I did is I already pre-cut my pieces. So you're going to have your 8 by 11 paper divided up basically like this. So you'll get your 4 pieces out of one sheet of paper. So once you have your 8 by 11 trimmed down, then what I do is I cut it in half. So now what I have is I have 2 pieces like that are 7 by 8. And you're going to need 5 sheets of paper. That seems to work really well. So I already selected some coordinating papers. And what I'll do is I'll start on the portion of the tag. So once you have your papers cut, I'm going to remove that. What you need to do is tear it. Real simple. And you're going to tear it. Let's see. We'll start with, I'll tear it this way. There's one edge. And I'm tearing them kind of in 3 equal strips. This is very forgiving, so even if your papers shift a little bit, it is still pretty forgiving. And then what I do is I take the center one and I tear that one in half. Okay. Let me move these out of the way. And then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bases, my 5 bases, and I'm going to cut them down so that I have them cut them in half. So I have my 7 by 8 inch piece. To do it all at once, but that's okay. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get your stacks, and you're going to now set your collages up. So you're going to take one, and actually what I'll do to make it a little bit easier on myself So I'm going to already set them up on here, and then this way I'll just have to glue it down. You see all that? Okay. So you take your top one and you're just going to go in order and lay them out. And then you'll take your next stack, but you're not going to start on this one. You'll start on your second sheet. To the top. Then you're going to start on your third sheet. I like that combination there. And then you'll go down to your, actually, did I do that correctly? Ooh, I did cut them a little bit more. I wonder if I should do that. No, I think I'm gonna keep them this way. All right, talking to myself. So now I'm starting on my fourth one there. Oops, back to the top, there, and there. And then the fun part, just start gluing the pieces down. Let me grab a glue book. And if your edges kind of don't go all the way to the edge, you can always trim them down later to get rid of that white. It's not that big of a deal. And for the tags on the back side, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to glue down some coffee dyed paper. For these tags, I went ahead and I did a masterboard and then added some washi tape and stamped it. But I think for these, I'm just going to use them to build up my stash, and then I'll embellish them as I need them. But these are a good little foundation to at least start with. Okay, so there's one. With my belly bands, you could do this with the tags as well, is I ran them through, if you can see all the stitching, I ran them through the sewing machine. Back sides don't need to be covered for the belly bands because they're going to be glued into the journal, so you don't have to worry about doing the back side. Yeah, I might run these through the sewing machine as I need them. most of my papers I purchased from Hobby Lobby, but what I end up, I'll buy their books, but one of my favorite things to do is to go to the back of the store where they have the clearance, and they have the stacks of 50 sheets. So they have these sheets, and there's 50 of them, different patterns. It's all packaged. You really can't see what you're getting. Sometimes people will open them, so you kind of can peek and see what you get. But there are 50 sheets, and they're $5.99, and I have really lucked out with a lot of the papers. They're usually pretty generic. Like this one was in the bundle. This one here was a lot of my solids, my polka dots. These polka dots also. It's a great deal, and it's a great deal for doing something like this where you can add them to other packs of paper. Like this one was one of my packs of paper, and so was this one, and you can get the colors to really tie together nicely. And for $5.99 for 12 by 12, and you're getting 50 of them. During Christmas, I ended up buying a Christmas stack, and they were 8.5 by 11s, and they were $3.99. And I got tons of paper, and started doing some Christmas journals that ran out of time. So this Christmas, I'm already ahead. I'm ahead of my Christmas stash. Oops. This is the last one. Okay. I have some coffee dyed paper here that I'm going to cut down. Will allow me to do this whole stack. Okay. Scraps for later. Scraps. Okay. See how it kind of comes over the edge. That's where you can later fine tune them and trim them down. I know for the ones that I showed you here, I ended up rounding the corners. You can also cut the corners at an angle if you like. Some of these papers have a faint pattern behind them, but I think I think once I cut them, maybe I'll take a stencil to them and add a little layer of stencil on there just to break up the flatness of the coffee dyed paper. Oops. The whole idea is just to do some bulk items to your stash, because for me, I've focused on doing that, and when I put my journals together, it seems to come along nicely because I don't have to overthink. I can grab some of the things that are somewhat neutral and and I can just add colors or labels or stickers or things that I fussy cut. What I do a lot of times is my husband and I like to watch certain television programs, like we like to watch Survivor. And what I'll do is I'll take a little basket with papers that need to get fussy cut, and I'll watch TV and I'll sit there and I'll do all my fussy cuts. And then sometimes if it's a long show or if he wants to watch a movie, I have a rolling table that I'll roll into the living room, and he kind of just rolls his eyes, but I'll take my crafts and gotta use my time wisely. So I don't have time to just sit around and watch TV. So instead I'll take my crafts and get some stuff done while I'm watching a movie or a TV show. Okay, that's the last one. Okay. All right, so I think what I'll do is I think I'm going to trim some of these just to, let's see if there's a straight side. I'm just going to trim them. Might as well trim them now, and then they'll be ready to go. So there's 2 cards there. I'm really liking that. Okay. One that's straighter than the other. Cards. That one's pretty good. Some of them aren't off by much. That's pretty good too. All right. Really like that big piece there. All right. 2 more. See how fast it goes if you do it this way? I don't know how much time I've been taking, but whenever I'm doing these videos, I feel like I take forever. But I think my longest video so far has only been 30 minutes maybe. sometimes you have to go back and kind of spot glue it here and there. You can also use washi tape to pull down the edges, or if you decide to sew them. Oh, I love these colors. Orange was my youngest son's favorite color. Everything he wanted had to be in orange. I think he's kind of outgrown it. All right, then I'll show you how to do the belly bands. All right, let's cut that one down. So there's your 10 cards. I'm going to use that in a minute. Okay, let me put these aside. And then we're going to I'm going to cut these. So these papers we're going to cut into 5, somewhat equal pieces. So we will start with, look about right. Yeah, that looks about right. What the heck? Oops. Okay, there's our 5. Start with our first pile. Then we start at the second. And then our third. Do I like the way those combinations are going together? You know what? I think they're going to be just fine. What did I skip? Uh-oh. One of them has something extra. I'm missing something. Is it this one? Oh, shoot. I hate when that happens. Oh, there it is. Okay. So what order did I have them in? Blue, blue, orange, is that it? That way. Okay, let me start over. There's that. Okay. Okay, and then the final one. Okay, perfect. And then just glue. Easiest little belly bands ever. If you wanted to, I did this with one of my Christmas challenges. I took a belly band and I used a gloss over it, and it really came out cute because it just flattened all of the papers together, and it created an even gloss. So it was a fun way to dress up a belly band. I always like it when the belly bands are stitched. They tend to have a sort of a weighted feel to them. Just getting a little sticky. I like using my catalogs that I get in the mail. Pottery Barn seems to keep sending me things. So I have a stack over there. I was using books to have as my glue books, but then I realized I like the pages of the books, so I stopped doing that and started using these mail catalogs. So I picked this color combination because I'm doing a golden book and I needed some extra tags and belly bands for the two books that I'm making. One of the books I'm making for one of my sons as a birthday gift. A little bit of a late birthday gift, but it's a gift. And I wanted colors that were a little more masculine, I guess. I don't know if these are it, but this is what I picked. And then the colors that are in the golden book, the story is it's a small world, so it's filled with tons of colors. So I think this will add to the charm of the book. I love all the colors in the golden books. Lots of color and lots of just interesting little drawings. And you know, if you've ever been on the ride at Disneyland, you know that it's just filled with color and happy children's faces. So the book definitely continues that same vibe of the ride. Okay, there's the third. And then I'll cut these down to size, and then my last thing I'll do is I'll show you how I add stencils to my coffee dyed paper, just to break up the tan color. I have a jar of leftover coffee in my fridge that I need to make some sheets this weekend, because what I've found is that my husband and he'll make his pot of his coffee and then he leaves a little bit left over in the bottom, and then I come down and I make my pot of coffee, and we drink different coffees, and I have a little bit left over. So in 1 week I thought, how much coffee do we actually throw out? And it ended up being a mason jar full of coffee. So I started putting that coffee in there and decided to use it for my coffee dyed papers. But I almost, you know, I did it just 1 week, and that was 2 weeks ago. So I got to get rid of that coffee in there. But I thought, I don't think I can keep up with the amount of extra coffee that we have, and I hate it going to waste, but it's the coffee from the bottom of the pot. At least I'm using it for something. Uh-oh, did I turn that? No. Just gonna have a little bit of a hole. And then if you wanted to, you could take each individual. I've watched 2 videos on this method, and what one of the videos, I think it was Gail. I can't remember her last name, but I love watching her videos while I'm on my treadmill. Anyway, she took her her ink pad, and on one of them she did all her papers with some smudging, and she used her distressed oxide, and she went on each of the sheets, so it gave another little pop of color there. Okay, so those are all done. Put this away, because if I don't, I will forget about it and I'll find it dried out. Okay, let me just trim these down. I wonder if I could do 2 at a time. Probably. Ooh, that's pushing it. Okay, maybe I want to 2 at a time. So how big are these? Just under 4. So there's 2. Turn it this way since that's the straight side. Ooh, well, that wasn't good. See how quick those are? How many minutes? Ooh, just over 30 minutes. See? You can build up some of your stash. So in an hour, if you wanted to continue, you could start punching holes in the tags, or if you want to be real quick, you could even just staple some ribbon to the top if you want to do it that way. You don't have to round the corners. That's pretty straight. I just love it because you get a collage look and it's fast. Like, it's really fast. I was actually trying to beat my husband coming home, and I think I just heard the garage door. He knows I'm doing this because I told him that he had to be quiet when he came home. So, all right, there are your 10 Bellybands. I love these colors. So now I think I'm gonna stitch them. Maybe that'll be another thing that I do. All right, so there's that trash there. Let me show you what I do with my stencils. I'll do it on a couple here. So I'll grab one of my stencils, and then just to give that paper a little bit of something, go in there and zhuzh it a little bit. And there you go. Just kind of livens up the paper a bit. Maybe I'll do another one. I'll just do it at the top. There. I don't know if you can see this one. This one already has some stencils that I had put in between the drawing rack. This one has the lines of the rack. Let's see if there's any others. Let me see if I see another one that I like. The other thing too, sometimes what I'll do is I'll, that's pretty. I'll get a coffee mug, dip it in my coffee and make some rings all over the papers. Oh, that one's nice. So there you go. Gives a little bit of interest, and you can still journal on the back side because it's light enough. Ooh, that's pretty too. Ooh, maybe I'll start going through all of my different stencils and see what I have. Oops. Don't rip them. Let's see what I have here. Oh yeah, he's home. He just ignores me when I'm doing this. I should tell him that I'm making a video every day so he can come home quietly, instead of using an outside voice. All right, I think I'll at some point stop. Well, that's what I always say, and then that's when I end up staying up until, you know, midnight, 2 in the morning. All of a sudden I'm a zombie because I'm trying to get something done. Ooh. All right, I'll stop. I'll stop there. I think you get the idea. Let's see where my little trainers are. Let's see. There you go. Oh, that I didn't get all the whole corner there. I have little scissors. They're on my other table. All right, so there you go. So those are my tags. Those are what will be added to my stash, and the next time I'm doing a journal, I already have a base of cards and belly bands to work off of. So there you go. Hope that helped. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave me a note on my page, and I appreciate the time that you took to watch it. Have a great day. Bye.